All right, so you're on your back. The bottoms of your feet are touching. You have a mudra of your thumb and your index fingers and the three other touching and the three other fingers stretching apart. I first learned this pose with the name as triple diamond pose. And that was always quickly followed by, it's an anger releasing pose. And it was one of those moments, which I imagine that you have too, where you hear something and your over intellectualized or very intelligently trained mind goes, yeah, that's some manure. That's obviously ridiculous. Anger removing pose. But I had this opportunity once to do this posture while I was quite frustrated and angry in a class. And I remember my whole, like, especially my arms, my legs, but my whole body vibrating. And it was like the whole posture was charged so explicitly that I've been a believer ever since. But with these kind of things, I want you to hear it like, oh, anger removing pose. And then experiment. If you ever have the opportunity and you're pissed off, you're angry, and you can go do something, like probably not on the bus or on your desk at work, but if you have the privacy to go and just lay in this posture, notice if it's more charged than perhaps it is right now. So close your eyes for this pose. And first, just notice the floor, the light in your room, the smell. Maybe even can hear birds outside. Maybe you can hear the wind. And then start to turn your senses inward. Even if you've only been awake for a couple of moments. Notice how your thinking has been this morning. And it's not so much what you've been thinking, but how you've been going about it. Allow your next couple of breaths to lead you to feeling your feelings this morning. How is your heart? And then finally, before we move out of this posture, just check in and notice the sensations in your body. So when philosophers or sometimes seers talk about sleep, they'll call sleep the little brother of death. I mean, it also has so many mysteries for us, what happens there. But then we can also think of every morning, every reawakening, that we're being reborn just for today. So take your hands to heart center, bring your palms together, and like I don't know, a radish sprout in spring, stretch your arms straight up to the sky from your heart. Beautiful. And then lift up your feet, and in between your feet, you should see this magical pointed oval shape. It should look familiar to most of us. And then see if you can actually dive your hands through, and you'll notice you come to a nice seated position. Beautiful. And just bow forward, coming into butterfly. So butterfly is very classic for us to relate to transformation. So as you settle into this pose, finding the right place, letting your neck relax and be soft. We're practicing this in a yin style. So you want to let your elbows be heavy. You can maybe imagine your skin dripping off your bones, melting. So butterfly is the final stage of the transformation. And the stages before are marked with such different characteristics than the ones we apply for butterflies. They are nearly as far into the butterfly, or seemingly as far removed from the butterfly, as this incredible truth of the substance water is actually composed of two gases, hydrogen and oxygen. But when we have water and when we're drinking water and we're swimming in water, that is so far from our imagination, and that's actually possible. That's how water becomes water. It's the same, like we think of like a caterpillar, this fat little grub thing, stuck close to things with the drive to eat and eat and eat. We've all read that book. But then even before this weird worm-like creature transforms, it cocoons itself, it hides itself, it protects itself. It nearly, I always imagine it as a process of nearly turning inside out, even though it's much more like in the cocoon, the caterpillar basically turns into this amazing primordial soup. I mean, you can't eat it, but like there's like a genetic pond. And from that, the butterfly is possible. But even before the butterfly emerges, time is spent. And then it takes effort for the butterfly to actually break out of the cocoon, out of the chrysalis at this point. There's this wonderful little story about somebody wanting to help so bad and just wanting to help, and I saw this chrysalis and decided to help the butterfly by cutting open the chrysalis so the butterfly could come out sooner. It sounds like the people who scheduled their birth before the lockdown. And unfortunately, the butterfly, if it doesn't have enough strength to break out of its own cocoon, it doesn't have enough strength to live. So as we have become such creatures of transformation, waking anew every day, We only transform as far as we're willing to wait in the dark places, to let go of everything that we know, and then actually to fight ourselves free, to effort ourselves free. And then we can rise up and transform into that beautiful butterfly. It's not something that happens to you. It's something that comes from your nature. Human beings are of the nature to transform. Just like the earth moves through cycles every year. In the temperate zone, we move through one season to the next. Or along the equator, we move from dry to wet. Take 5 more full deep breaths here. Noticing yourself get a little, maybe even softer and heavier. And after your 5th inhale, actually exhale, inhale, rise up. And then wiggle and moan and groan your way into a beautiful Sphinx. So we did a hip opener, letting our knees open to the sides in a recline position, and then a hip opener with a forward bend feels very different. And now we're just coming into a simple Sphinx pose. So you slide your elbows just a little bit in front of your shoulders to be the nice passive place. Let your legs be relaxed and as wide as your yoga mat if your lower back feels healthy and good. If you're a little bit more sensitive in your lower back, bring your legs closer together. And we're just going to start with some really peaceful, slow, easy neck rolls. So find your own slow speed. Maybe notice you like turning your head to one side more than the other. If you find spots that are particularly juicy or sensitive or full of a sensation, maybe pause there and see if you can really feel it more in order to digest it. And once you feel complete turning in that direction, turn to the other direction. After you've circled around both directions, you're welcome to try your morning wow face. So, wow, wow, wow. Very good, Steph. Wow. We want to bring liveliness to our whole being, even our face. And then after your wows, just let yourself settle just a little bit deeper, a little bit more still. So whenever we talk about transformation of the butterfly, we talk about the caterpillar, we talk about the soup, and then the emergence of the butterfly. But we so often forget these elements that are so essential. The container. So the cocoon, then becoming the chrysalis. That's not even mentioning the pupa before the caterpillar is born. But these containers, we could even imagine as containers of transformation. And so one of the things that we're actually attempting in our yoga practice is we're attempting to transform our body to house all the dynamicism of our actions, but our emotions, our thoughts, this incredible world we have inside of us. You might notice that with your yoga practice, you've become more sensitive, but not necessarily in just a sentimental way. That beauty moves you more. That other people's pain touches you more vividly. You're working with your container when you're working with your physical body. Our earthly life is but the womb for our spirit. The yin is always about the container. This part that we so often neglect and don't mention. You know, notice the difference of a container of a messy house or a clean house. Notice the difference of a container that feels full of energy or feels depleted. Or maybe more picturesque, notice the difference between the container of like a piccolo or a violin compared to a silver flute or a cello. Those containers are vastly different that produce different sounds and a different range of sound. Now, if you want, for the last minute of the pose, you can slide your hands back to where your elbows were and extend your arms and come into seal. If you want, you don't have to. So we start with this kind of checking in and this place of being. Oh, Sachi's running. Awesome. And then we move to our yang part of our practice. It's like the other hand of the sculpture. And we try to shape and condition our container through fire, through a little sweat, a little burn. And then slowly lower yourself all the way down to the yoga mat. Wiggle your hips side to side, moan and groan. You're all muted, so you can make some weird sounds. Feel free. That's right. Maybe shake your legs side to side. Feel that release in your lower back. Feels a little bit like a Vishnu couch morning, doesn't it? Oh yeah, totally. All right, so you're gonna first roll onto your right side and you're gonna stretch your arm flat and lie your ear on your arm. And then stretch your legs back, and you might have to bring your hips a little bit forward even. You can help support yourself with your left hand in front of your chest, just like Pear's doing here. Yeah. And then if you're not falling over already, just see if you can start to raise your left leg. Beautiful. And then see if you could bring your right leg to meet your left leg. Oh yeah. You might start to wobble a little bit. It's okay to use your hand to support you. But if you feel stable, you know that's not a place of transformation. So we're going to go a little further and first stretch your arm down your thigh. Yeah, you got it. And then maybe if you're not flopping around like a fish, maybe you can start to lift up your head. Oh, and then maybe start to lift your bottom arm. Then maybe if you're really into the radical practice, see if you can smile. Oh yeah, gorgeous. And then relax down to the ground. And roll to your left-hand side. Stretch your left arm long. Have your right hand support you in the front here. And just notice on the other side, maybe you were more like a banana shape. Maybe you need to slide your hips a little bit forward. I think, Martin, that would help you maybe. Just a little, yeah. And then get strong with your legs and first lift up your top leg. It's all right, Stephanie, always raising ahead. And then lift up your bottom leg. You can't rush transformation. And then maybe lift up your head. Oh, you can relax your arm down your side body. Beautiful, Sakura. I can nearly see you smiling. Great, Nola. Now lift up your head, maybe. Lift up your arm. Beautiful. So we know we're doing things right if we mess it up a little bit. Yeah. And then release back down. And then roll onto your belly. Slide your hands nowhere. Bring your elbows underneath your shoulders. Other way. And then tuck up and lift up into forearm plank. Yep, you know it. Pull your belly in. See if you can tuck your tail towards your heel. Beautiful. And then roll to your right side. Baby Vasisthasana. It's also just as deceptive as the couch. This baby is a lot of work. I know babies are. Reach through your fingertips. Now, see if you can lift up your hips too high and then drop them down too low. And lift them up too high and then drop them down too low. One more time to say good morning, side body, up and down. And then come back to forearm balance and gracefully or not, just roll to the other side. We don't want to get ripped just on one side of an abdominals, huh? All right, gorgeous. So you have your elbow on the ground, stretch your top arm up. Notice if your hips are like jacking up, lower them down. Beautiful. And then too low, too high. It's like a Goldilocks workout. Too low, too high, too low, too high. Was there one more, love? Try it out. Yeah. And then come back to forearm plank. And then see if you can slide your right hand where your right elbow is and extend your arm. And then slide your, come up into plank. Very nice. Now, lift up in between your shoulder blades. Feel your fingers spreading out. Feel your heels reaching back. And then step your feet together and roll to the outside of your right foot. Reach your arms up. If you're feeling like you got a little extra, stretch your top leg up. Yeah. So it's like a side star pose. Gorgeous. And let's take the other side before our star fades. Onto the left. Stretch your arms apart. Oh yeah, getting a little fire to start our vinyasa. Maybe lift your top leg. I know you want to, Nola. Yes. And then come back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to plank. Oh yeah, often confused with up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Gorgeous. Now bend your knees deeply and reach your hips up and back, sticking your booty up. Feel your belly hollow out. Bringing your Ujjayi breath into this transformation process. It's a victorious breath. And you can imagine it's like a dramatic whisper. Together we sound like the ocean. Alone we sound like Darth Vader. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way and then float your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, drive your chest forward, shoulders back. Exhale, release and bow down. Push down with your feet, roll all the way up to the sky, stretch up tall. And with your exhale, bring your hands to heart center, and we're gonna sound 3 ohms. Now, it is already like just about halfway through class. We're ohming here to really invite all the elements of our vinyasa. So it's warming and you want to feel the shaking in the back of your throat. Now, Zoom is weird and it's going to cut my ohms out a little bit, but you just fearlessly continue on. 3 ohms. Take a full breath in, get tall. Ah. Inhale, stretch your arms up high, reach tall. See if you can touch the ceiling. And with your exhale, soften your knees, pull your belly in already, and bow forward, let your head drop. We're doing a slow sun A, so it means extra breaths. Let your head hang, but your effort and your belly is lifting up and maybe starting to straighten your legs. Your hands are on the ground or touching the backs of your calves. With your next inhale, halfway lift. So bring your hands to touch your shins so you can push your hands back and your shoulders reach behind your ears. Your chest moves forward. We're taking a couple breaths here. So find the active neutral spine. It's a flat back here, flat-ish. Take another full inhale, feel your abdominals engaged. Plant your hands and step back to plank. With your exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. And then flip your feet over, plant your toes like little seeds, get your legs powerful and strong, and lift up low cobra. So your legs are doing the work. You can even lift your hands a little bit to see that your legs are doing the work. That'll check you. So float your hands, Sakura. Try it out. Yeah, put your feet back down, push them down, and then exhale. Everybody relax down on the ground. Same effort with your legs. Now this time, you're gonna pull your hands down to about your ribs, a little bit lower, yeah. And then squeeze your elbows together. Get strong with your legs and inhale, lift up, upward facing dog. So you want your chest in front of your shoulders and then see if you can bring the back of your neck slightly back. Yeah, gorgeous. Your thighs are floating. Powerful legs makes for freedom in your spine. Take another full inhale and then exhale, come to downward facing dog. So if your lower back is loud, do low cobra, even when I say upward facing dog. Take another full fueling inhale. Exhale, bending your knees, lifting your heels, and then with your breath out, lightly hop your feet in between your hands, enjoying the beautiful inhale for halfway lift. Feel the back of your lungs fill up. Exhale, release and bow down, let your head drop. Push down with your feet and roll all the way up to the sky, stretch up tall, and then come home. Samasti Tahi. Allow your hands to meet at heart center, then drop them down by your sides. Inhale, stretch your arms up high, lift up tall. To be gentle on your back, bring your hands through heart center to bow forward. Let your head drop. Inhale, halfway lift, reach your chest forward, and then step back to plank. Do the secret little move where you shift the tips of your toes and then lower halfway down, chaturanga. Keep your elbows and shoulders the same height. Squeeze your elbows in. Inhale, upward facing dog. Your thighs never touch the ground. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bending your knees a little bit, allow that natural curve come into your lower back. This is the healthy curve. This curve keeps you the bounce in your step, your resilience, your capacity, to transform every day, bounce with every step. Take another full inhale, empty your breath all the way, and then float your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. Push down with your feet, roll all the way up to the sky, stretch up tall, And exhale, samastitihi. Now drop down low so that your fingertips touch the ground. Shift your weight into your heels already. Let your knees maybe come a little bit forward. Squeeze your knees together. And then inhale, lift up, Utkatasana. And we're going to breathe here for a couple of moments. So find the weight in your heels. Notice if you can actually lift up your toes and wiggle them. Freedom. Great. Notice if you can smile even in this thunderbolt pose. You still want a natural curve to your back. This looks beautiful, pair. So you have a little bit of a curve in your lower back here. Notice your abdominals are helping you sink down a little lower. It's okay to feel the fire in your thighs. Reach through your fingertips so the fire can escape. One of our challenges in this modern world is directing our fire energy. Take another full inhale as your heart opens, and then exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift, reach your chest forward. Walk or float. Exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. And with your exhale, bring your knee to your chest. Inhale, drop your knee so it nearly touches the mat right by your wrist. And then with your exhale, pike it up into your chest. That's maybe not the right word, but yeah, pull it up. Beautiful. Then step your right foot forward. Let your left knee come down to the ground. Slide your left knee back a little bit. Then inhale, lift up, supported crescent lunge. One breath, maybe even take the back bend here. And then with your exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. With your exhale, you're going to bring your knee to your chest. Inhale, very controlled. You're going to drop your left knee down to your left wrist. And then with your exhale, pull your knee all the way up to your chest. Feel your abdominals go, yeah. And then step your foot forward. Allow your right knee to come down to the mat. Maybe slide your knee back a little bit. Rise up, supported crescent lunge with your inhale. Full expression, and exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, feel your knees soften, your hips pull up and back. Exhale, feel that you surrender your heels towards the ground. You're pushing your hands down and forward, letting your head relax. Take another full inhale. Fuel up, empty your breath all the way. And then lightly hop your feet in between your hands. And if you're starting to fall forward, you're doing it perfectly right. Inhale, halfway lift. Yes. Exhale, release and bow down. Let your head drop. Bend your knees deeply and bravely. Rise up. Utkatasana. Exhale, stand up tall. Inhale, Utkatasana. And then exhale, bring your hands over your head and just take a little twist to your right. Then inhale back to center, grab opposite elbows over your head, I guess I should have said. And then a little twist to your left. Inhale, come back to center, stretch your arms up with another inhale. Exhale, release and bow down, let your head drop. Inhale, halfway lift, walk or float. Exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. And with your exhale, bring your right knee to your right elbow. Enjoy a push-up here. Inhale, stretch your right leg long. Exhale, bring your knee to your chest and step your right foot to your right hand. Rise up, crescent lunge. This time your back leg is lifted. And then with your exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg long. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Enjoy a push-up. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, bring your knee to your chest and deliver your foot, heel to toe. Rise up, crescent lunge. And then exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Fingers spread out. Exhale, down dog. Now maybe everybody just bend your knees a little bit And then see if you can roll your sit bones up to the sky. So we're really you want to have a neutral spine in your downward facing dog. And by neutral spine, it's what your upright spine looks like. So flattening out your lower back, as has been the tendency in a lot of different yoga schools, actually doesn't serve your spine so well. So having a little soft bend in your knees and efforting your hips up and back really helps this natural curve. Take another full inhale, empty your breath all the way, and then lightly hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down, let your head drop. Bend your knees, drop your booty, inhale, Utkatasana. And with your exhale, open arm twist to your right. Inhale up to center. Exhale, open arm twist to your left. Inhale up to center. Exhale, vinyasa, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk, fly, or float. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. With your exhale, take your right knee to your left elbow. Enjoy a humbling push-up. It's really hard. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, bring your knee to your chest. Rise up, crescent lunge. And with your exhale, you're gonna take your hands back behind you, and you're gonna fly up into airplane. Beautiful. Reach through your fingertips. Very nice. And then bring your hands to heart center and just start to lower down to standing splits. You can catch the floor with your hands. Release your hands to the ground, and then take one hand at a time to your ankle. Notice that you have to change your thinking. Imagine you can stand on the ceiling. Feel it inside, the ball of your big toe reaching, so you're trying to keep your hips squared. And now we're gonna do something. We're gonna do a curtsy. So you're gonna bend both of your knees, and you're gonna bring your left knee behind your right knee. You bring your hands into prayer. It's not maybe how you usually curtsy. Can you see that? Yeah, very nice. And then release your right hand and stretch out into side moon. Oh yeah, well done. Take another full inhale here, and with your exhale, transition warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Feel the side body stretch up. And with your exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky for a humbling push-up. Bring your left knee to your right elbow. Even if you could just do a little bit, it's on your way. Gorgeous. Rise up. And then step your foot all the way forward. Crescent lunge. Feel the inhale and the expansion, wide chest. And then exhale, fly your airplane. So shift your weight. Trying to keep your right leg fully extended. Make your foot flexed. Extend. So dorsiflex, maybe bringing your toes to your shin on your right leg. Maybe notice if you can smile here. All right, bring your hands to heart center, praying, and then humbly drop your head down towards the ground and allow your right leg to lift up to the ceiling. Then release your hands. You can have your hands on the ground or take one hand, standing splits, one hand at a time to your ankle. So imagine you can step on the ceiling. I think Per nearly can. Allow yourself to practice, even if it's hard, to be joyful, taking it lightly. Very good. Okay, this intense yoga curtsy. So you're gonna bend your right knee, bring it behind your left knee, bring your hands to heart center. Curtsy is along in the same lines with a bow. And then unwind your curtsy coming into half moon. So you plant your left hand directly underneath your left shoulder, reach through your fingertips, stretch up tall with your inhale, and with your exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior, and exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Soften your knees. See if you can curve your lower back there. Feel like you're rolling your sit bones up to the ceiling. And then see if you can drop both of your elbows down to the ground. Come into dolphin. Coming into dolphin, you got it, Camila. So you want to make sure your head's not touching the ground, your fingers pointing straight forward or interlacing your fingers. And then step your right foot a little bit closer to your right elbow and stretch your left leg up to the sky. Now, yogi's choice. You can work here for a moment, just bringing your gaze to your fingertips, or you can start to play with it, jumping up, or you can just hold forearm balance, but you want your head not touching. Martin Love, squeeze your elbows more in, and then you'll have more space between your head and the yoga mat, much more freedom. Yeah. Try it out. Lead with the other leg if you're still jumping, or just switch your legs, pushing your left leg down, stretching your right up, pushing your right leg down, lifting your left leg up. Have you switched, love? Yeah. And then come to stillness and walk your hands, probably extend your arms, and then walk your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow forward. Separate your feet so they're hip distance apart. And lift up your toes and slide your whole hand underneath your feet. Inhale, halfway lift, most likely bending your knees more. Exhale, release and bow down. So don't be timid. You want to step your feet all the way on your hands so that your toes are like touching where your watch would be, or your friendship bracelets. And your elbows are even bending, moving out to the sides a little bit. Feel your belly button. Like imagine your belly button wants to escape out of your spine. Feel the weight coming forward. If you want to challenge, see if you can lift up your heels. If you start to fall, you pretend like you're on fire, you drop and roll. All right, then step off your beautiful hands. Toe heel your feet out a little bit further and squat down and come into goddess. Bring your hands here. Very nice. So you want to imagine your back is kind of like hanging like a pendulum. You're praying, like letting, so as we pray, one of the things we want to avoid is just praying in our head. We want to start to really notice it's an effort and it's a heart experience. So in this posture, we're practicing opening up our heart even. All right, interlace your fingers and come up about halfway, pull your belly in, push your hands out. And then exhale down into goddess. And then inhale, lift up, stretch your butt back, reach your hands forward, pull your belly in, feel a little bit of a burn, toes pointing a little bit more forward. And then exhale, let your toes spin back out as you come down to goddess. Inhale, stretch forward. Pull your belly in. Find your thighs parallel to the ground. Pull your Uddiyana Bandha in. Notice you can relax your face while you engage your Uddiyana Bandha. I've seen you do it. Oh, wait. Reach into it. Is it starting to burn? Oh, it's starting to burn. Oh, yeah. And then exhale, come into goddess. Plant your hands down. Walk your feet back. Drop your elbows. Come into dolphin pose again. Maybe slide your elbows a little bit closer together. Make sure you can freely move your head. Bring your left foot closer to your left elbow. Stretch your right leg up to the sky. And either stay here or lightly play. Breathe into it. Squeeze your elbows a little bit more, Steph. Remember, there's two of you. So if you're like, my elbows are perfect, maybe they are. Oh yeah, nice one. You missed the computer. And then if you're not balanced, make sure you do both sides. And then exhale, come into child's pose. Notice if you're missing child's pose, yipsters. The yippinators. All right, lift up onto your knees, and we're gonna set up for camel. So one of the keys of your back bends is to find the power in your legs. So you wanna imagine you're pushing your shins down, or actually feel it, and feel that you're getting taller, as tall as you can, your little person height. And then bring your hands back behind you, squeeze your elbows together, and let your hips slide a little bit forward. Now, keep your head lifted for quite a long time here. Lift up your chest and start to drop back. You want to keep your chest really nice and wide. And if you can keep your chest open here, then drop your head back. Maybe you can hold onto your feet. Notice where your edge is. So whether you're pushing your hips forward with your hands or holding onto your feet, your hips are still thrusting forward, my loves. Yes, indeed. Now, maybe a hint of a smile. This is totally next level back bending. So feel your openness, the power and vulnerability in it. Then stick out your tongue and with a whisper, roar like a lion, looking at your third eye. So you go, and inhale, lift up. And with your exhale, come into child's pose. And then lift up your chest, cross your ankles, roll over your crossed ankles, and come onto your back, setting up for bridge. So you might notice as you set up for bridge, if you imagine the shape of the bridge, it's very similar to your camel. So you want your feet hip distance apart, and then spin your toes in a little bit. Let's do robot arms this morning. So you're gonna bend your elbows, and just like a robot, and gonna push your elbows and the back of your arms and your shoulders into the ground, and feel your chest hollow out, like puff up a little bit. Then push your feet down and forward as you push your elbows and shoulders down, and slowly roll up your hips. Gorgeous, great idea, Sabine. You can take your robot hands and actually slide them in. And for some of us, we can put our hands right underneath our hips. So we're doing a supported bridge with our arms. So one of the things I love about yoga is you just don't need that much stuff to be able to do it. It's available to everyone, one way or another. And then slowly release your hands and roll down one vertebrae at a time. Let your knees drop together and your feet slide out as wide as the yoga mat. Take a full breath in, maybe sigh out your exhale. Una más. Bridge or wheel. Last back bend of this class today. So give it your all. We've been warming up. You should feel fiery inside. So if you're up in full wheel, feel free to walk your heels closer to your hands and your hands closer to your heels. Maybe Germany stuff, bring your feet closer together, my love. Very nice, Sabine. Feel your inner thighs rotating down to the ground. That's right, Sweden Stephanie, or the English Stephanie, that's great. Stretch your leg, do alternate legs, or maybe you can do some upside down push-ups. Or if you want another strengthening, just lower your head so it's nearly touching the mat. Squeeze your elbows together. See if you can bring your heels down. Come to your edge for 5, 4, 3, 2, and then gently release down to the yoga mat. Slide your feet out and let your knees fall together. All right. Now you're gonna braid your right knee over your left knee. And then lift up your feet so they're parallel with the yoga mat or straight out from your knees. So your feet are lifted. And then try to effort, without twisting them, Sabine, try to effort your right foot to your left ear and your left foot to your right ear. So first you're gonna try to do it without helping with your hands. It's really hard. You're not gonna get very far. Beautiful. And then take your hands to your knees and slide your hands down to your shins and start to pull your shins towards your face. So English Steph, don't let your feet go down too low. Lift them up higher. Yeah, there you go. So you're flexing your feet to protect your knees. And then you're pulling your shins towards your ears, often confused with your butt cheeks. I don't know why, huh? There, you got it. Beautiful, nice. So what you should feel in this posture, if it's easy, you can slide your hands even closer to your feet, or maybe even hold on to your feet if you're flexible. So Sabine, you might be able to hold your feet with your feet flexing. Very nice, Steph. Layla, you look good there. Maybe lift up your left foot a little bit. Yeah, nice head wig. But so you should feel this in your gluteus maximus, your big butt muscles, or your perfect butt, big muscles. And it also is actually releasing your lower back. And then release your hands and just squeeze your knees together and slide your hips to your right, hips, other right, and then knees to your left. Drop them down. So you're coming into a twisted leg twist. So just having your knees crossed gives us a little bit more freedom than wrapping your toes all the way around. But if it's easy for you, Steph, that's great. Take it. If in doubt, see if you can bring your knees a little closer to your chest. And Nola, you want to roll the other direction so that your the top leg is the one on top. The other one's a really nice stretch too. So like bonus for you. Woohoo. Your gaze is either going up to the ceiling or to your right. And then unwind, come back to center. So you're gonna braid your left knee over your right knee, then lift up your feet and lift them as high as your knees, and then try to effort your feet back to your face. So they probably won't move that much, but you wanna start to feel that that's a strength. And then take your hands to your knees and start to slide your hands down your shin, pulling your shins towards your face, or maybe you hold on to your flexed feet. So reclining cow face pose. And just notice this posture. It has a very quick and like you can feel the stretch in your gluteus maximus, but it's way more subtle that it's releasing your lower back. So we often have this combination of yin and yang in all of our postures. Even when we're focusing in on one or the other is always present. So notice how the fire part of our practice has treated you today. And then release your hands and just put your right foot on the ground. You can lift up your butt cheeks and slide your hips to the left, and then drop your knees to the right. So if in doubt, you want the top leg to be, how would you say it? If your knees are going to the right, your top leg should be your left. Sometimes it's hard to tell. I can't tell, Martin, if you're got your top leg there. I think you do. Excellent. And doing it the opposite is also a nice stretch. It's just different. So we hope that with this vinyasa practice, we've tempered our vessel of transformation. A woman. And when you feel balanced, start to move your way back to center, stretching your legs long, letting your arms relax by your sides with your palm facing up, maybe covering yourself in Shavasana. And as you come into Shavasana, you want to have your palms open to receive, your eyes closed and trusting, and your body is still, and your practice is being, not becoming. So it's really another yin pose in a way, where you just want to allow rest in your physical body. And it's soft concentration in your mental body. So you keep your attention here in your body, in this moment, in the room. With your next inhale, invite your breath to the edges of your body. Smile your face awake and wiggle your fingers and toes, maybe opening and closing your fingers and toes, stimulating all of your meridians here. Your sacred divine wiring. And then find your way rolling onto your right hand side, hugging your knees to your chest. You're a magical being. Thank you so much for improving your vessel. And then help yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Allow your hands to meet at heart center. Can we unmute? We're going to unmute you guys, you beautiful women and guys. And so maybe you can hear of the other folk, maybe not. Bring your hands to heart center. And let's close today with a Anahata mudra. So blossom your fingers open, your thumbs stay connected to your breastbone. This effort to be open and powerful and receive. Empty your breath, close your eyes, lift up tall. Take a full fueling inhale. Bring your prayer hands to your third eye, invite the divine light. And as we bow forward together, we say, Namaste.
Namaste.
And so much love. Wah, 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 wah. What a wonderful way to start the day. I'm so happy to see your faces. Thank you for practicing. It makes a difference for everyone you know, but for the world. If you have friends who want to be on the Zoom list, you can always email me through my website. And any other information you need is there. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions or requests. And I know all of you and you guys all know about donating and you're very awesome at it. So thank you so much for your support. It makes a world of difference. So go out there or in your house and be awesome.